Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Fruth Field here in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Tight quarters here, Ricardo.
Yeah, I'm very too close to you, my friend.
I'm Brett Christopherson with USA Today Network Wisconsin. He is Ricardo Arguello. We just saw 63-20 victory, Fond du Lac over Hortonville. And Ricardo, I know we got to make this fast because they're going to be shutting down here pretty soon. We'll do your 5 takeaways. We'll start with takeaway number 1. Fond du Lac looking every bit the part of the number 1 team in the state. It's going to take a heck of a performance to knock them out, isn't it?
Look, and not just that. When I was down there, Coach Jorgensen was not happy still with his team. And I think that speaks volumes right there, Brett, that he thinks that team can improve. They would score 63 points, but he was about his defense, his backup defense, allowing plays here and there. That is the sign of a champion, Brett, when you're expecting perfection from all levels, not just the starters, Brett. He's expecting perfection from the levels and a level of play that he feels he didn't get, for all every minute of this game, even though they put up 63 points. I think that speaks volumes about Fond du Lac and about where they're going to be, and we fully expect them to be competing for that state title, Brett, down the line in the postseason.
Well, maybe either meeting Kimberly or Nina in one of those state semifinal games. But I think what I took away from what Fond du Lac did was the explosive play.
Yes.
60-yard touchdown run, 44 yards. There was a 33-yard touchdown pass, a 43-yard run, an 80-yard run, a 35-yard run, a 65-yard run, just up and down the lineup, speed, and then they got that fantastic offensive line that makes it so much more, I guess, more dynamic in that it allows Carson Raditz, the quarterback, to do his thing. Xavier Ellis, Evan Sauer. I mean, just speed and at the skill position, it's up and down, and it's almost an embarrassment of riches.
And not just that. That's going to play even bigger in the playoffs, Brett, because we all know the offensive line is going to figure in prominently. When it's when it's 20 degrees out there and they're mashing, that's going to be the biggest determiner, I think, in terms of where Fond du Lac will finish. I still think they'll make it down to the rug over there at Camp Randall.
I think the rug, interesting. I've never heard it called that. The camp, let's just do it that instead. But I think one of your takeaways, I'm going to give you a takeaway.
Okay.
And the fact that if you look at Division I, the numbers 1, 2, and 4th ranked teams, all coming from the Valley Football Association, all with resounding victories tonight. Kimberly 45-7 over Appleton West, and then Nina having no trouble against I'm losing it. Oshkosh North, that's right, taking it to the Spartans.
Yeah, and and all 3 teams are on collision courses with each other.
Yes, they are.
And Coach Jorgensen wanted nothing to do with me when I brought up maybe Nina in a couple of weeks and they're going to play. He was talking about Oshkosh North next week, but all those 3 teams are going to figure in how they finish because not only that, they may face each other in the postseason, Brett. And we'll talk a little bit about takeaway quick with Bayport as well coming up too, but that's another team that you might see in the postseason as well. Speaks volumes of the conference, Brett. We say it's the best one in the state, and I stand by that declaration.
Well, when you have 3 teams ranked in the top 4 coming all from the same league. Well, let's talk about Bayport. They hammered, I guess you could say, Pulaski previously.
Yeah.
28-0. So the Pirates were waiting for them to make that deep run, but they always run into either Kimberly or Appleton North or somebody that from the VFA. So maybe this is their time.
Maybe it is their time, but you know what? Then you have a team that from the VFA that they're going to have to face probably in the first round, like Appleton North, because Appleton North has a pretty pedestrian record, relatively speaking, because of the couple of losses that they had earlier in the year. Bayport, it's so much fun to watch Bayport because there's a lot of athletes on that team, but playing in that conference, Brett, I don't know. When you're the best, one of the other best teams in that is a Division III team, you're not facing the Ninas and the Kimberleys and the Fond du Lacs and the Appleton Norths week in, week out. That's why I'm always hesitant to put the FRCC, in terms of talent level up with the VFA, I should say. So it's great that they won. They continue to win, but eventually they're going to have to pop through in the postseason, make a long, long run. I'm talking to the state semifinals or something like that because right now the VFA has had their way with them.
You make a good point. I think it was a couple years ago when Appleton North and Bayport played in the first round.
An 8 seed went up there and took them to the limit.
Yeah.
So
I know
jury's out still.
I know Bayport, I don't think was too pleased with that matchup because Appleton North had a rare down year, but still that's a tough game to play at home in your level 1 game playing Appleton North. Let's do takeaway number 4, and I'm gonna feed it to you again, Ricardo. Little Chute in Wrightstown in a collision course in the northeastern Wisconsin.
We can't wait for this to happen. Right now, we're just hoping, that both teams can kind of keep the course, Brett, and be 8-0 heading into that final week because that is a matchup that just has so many determiners. I really want to see both teams playing at their best, and that's hopefully what we'll get because those 2 teams have history. The Northeastern Conference is basically between those 2 teams right now. No disrespect to Freedom or Luxembourg Casco out there, but I think those 2 teams have risen to the top. right now, Little Shoot's been my pick from the beginning, but I'm not going away from them. So if they're relatively healthy, not only do I expect Little Shoot to win the NEC, I expect Little Shoot to at least reach the state semis. I expect them to reach the camp, as you have told me
the
to.
Rug,
Yeah, I called it the Rug because they're down there on the turf. But yeah, so great matchup. And Wrightstown, they're flying on the radar a little bit, Brett. I know you don't think they are, but they are kind of, because I've been giving a little bit too much attention, perhaps, to Little Shoot. But that's for good reason. They're a good team.
Yeah, Little Shoot hammers Clintonville tonight. Wrightstown takes care of FEL, so both undefeated at 5-0. We are in line to stream that Week 9 game between Little Shoot and Wrightstown. That's at Wrightstown. That's a nice budding rivalry, too, with Wrightstown's addition to the Northeastern Conference. Your fifth takeaway as we wrap up, because Rosie and I don't want to be hopping the fence like we did last year here.
It is the matchup between Kimberly and Nina, Brett. I wanted to talk about that because that's you've done a great job of making that our live stream next week. We can't wait to see that because it was a close game last year. I believe it was 15-7, 15-8. Kimberly pulling that one out late. That was the game, Brett. We were like, oh, Nina, okay, you guys are you guys are legit. But Nina right now, they want to take down Kimberly. They took down Appleton North earlier this year. Now they want to take down Kimberly. This is what we want. We want these Division I programs to have the kind of passion that you want out of big-time programs. They see those guys as rivals, as big-time rivals, and they can't wait to play those teams. So we're going to have a good one next week. I'm going to be amped all week, Brett, about that game because, Kimberly's going to come ready to play, and, Nina likes to measure themselves against those other top programs. And, boy, would that be a feather in Coach Young's cap if he can knock out Kimberly again, Brett.
Number 2 against number 4. That'll be the game of the night in the state. We did a little bit of a switcheroo tonight coming to Fruth, switch the initial schedule. We're doing it again next week just because we know that there's going to be a very high interest in that game and how that turns out. So you got anything else? Because, again, I'm a little bit worried we're going to get locked in like we did last year.
No. Just, it's going to be a great – Brett, you've done a great job of setting things up, the rest of the live stream in terms of the scheduling. So we're expecting a nice run here until the postseason. It's going to be some great games, and I hope everyone tunes in every Friday. All
right. So, again, live coverage will kick off at 6:45 from Rocket Stadium. We haven't been there in quite a number of years, so really looking forward to that. Nina, Kimberly, Week 6, big game of the night in the state. Cannot wait to bring you that one. In the meantime, check out a replay of this one at post.cr/games or right here on facebook.com/postcrescent. So for Ricardo, I know Rosie's got to crawl in here and shut off this thing. I'm Brett Christopherson saying so long. Again, what was the final? It was 63-20. Fond du Lac beats Hortonville in our Week 5 Game of the Week live stream. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Have a great night and a great week.